In a shocking turn of events, tonight's episode of AEW Rampage gave a lot of play to Impact Wrestling for the first time ever in this worthless-ass relationship between AEW and Impact Wrestling.
What up, Marks? Rampage!
Guys, it's Rampage time, the debut edition of the 1 hour weekly episodic show called AEW Rampage. The first one in probably the less important one, because next week is supposed to be CM Punk. So let's get into this review and reaction of AEW Rampage, the debut episode. It started off with Kenny Omega and Chris. First off, let me preface it for you guys. They got a 4-man announcing booth with Taz,
1 hour show.
What's this guy's name? I forget. Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry. Man, that's a lot of people there. It didn't really mesh that well. It's not probably the best thing to do. But we got Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for that Impact World title. The Impact title finally showcased on some AEW television. It was a bit on this past Dynamite, and here we got full-fledged, Impact promotion with Kenny Omega coming in with all the titles that he carries. Remember, he's taking on I think it's this weekend, Andrade for that AAA title, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. So he's got a lot of defenses coming up here soon, but it was a tremendous match between the two of them. Obviously, Kenny's a tremendous performer. Obviously, that this Captain Charisma is another tremendous performer. And in the end, we got with the Young Bucks coming out and trying to assist with the use of a chair. Kenny was trying to hit the One-Wing Angel on Christian through the chair, and then he would get reversed with the unprettier, and this would be the highlight of the night.
What a maneuver! Christian turned it around! Oh my goodness! That cow switch! Oh, he's got it! Oh, he's got it! Oh, he's got it! He's got it! Oh.
So there you go. He would hit that unprettier on the chair. I mean, looking like he pretty much killed Kenny, and you bastard. And then he wins the Impact World title. So we have new Impact champion, and it is the former TNA champion, Christian Cage. Let's see if he goes back to Impact in a full-time capacity. Makes sense, probably. It doesn't really fit in AEW. The timing's not correct. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan supposedly coming in, maybe more. So it makes sense to get him out. Now, they give him this as kind of like, you get this title that doesn't really matter, and you're going to lose to Kenny at All Out, which makes sense. And, we have got the Amore in the ring, so a big player for Impact, seeming that Christian Cage is headed to Impact.
Okay, first of all, I hated all this because of the fact that why is the first match on your new AEW show we're emphasizing TNA for the first time in God knows how long, because of the fact that we really never talked about TNA, but now we're going to talk about TNA on our first show on Rampage. We're going to have Christian win the title, beat the main man in AEW, Kenny Omega, and now he's just TNA champion. Okay, and what does that mean? I better go watch TNA to see Christian Cage? I like none of it. This is the way you start off your number one show. Your number two show, but it's the first episode of your major, your second show going on Friday night right after SmackDown. And this is how we're going to start with the TNA belt that we haven't really put over, that we haven't talked about, that we really don't give two craps about. Did you remember that Kenny Omega was TNA champion? I sure as hell forgot. But this is how we're doing it. Christian Cage is your new TNA champion. He's going to show up on TNA.
Yep.
You think he would, because it is the TNA championship, and like you said, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan are coming. Sorry, Christian Cage, we loved you, we missed you,
odd man
you're
out.
Back, and you're odd man out. You should have stayed on WWE. You should have had a program with Edge at SummerSlam that would have felt way more important, and you'd have been used better. Maybe not used better, but at least you would have been with Edge, and that's it. But for the most part, this was what it was. For your first match for Rampage, a new show, with too much TNA talk. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's finally, like, the fact is that it sucks because, like, it's all Impact, right, for your first show, but this is the spot where you give Impact, finally you give them a spotlight. You had months to give it a spotlight. You have months to give them a spotlight. You chose this because it's a big event, right? But you've had big events before where Kenny Omega could have defend that title against actual Impact wrestlers, of Rich Swann, who lost the title to him, a Moose showing up, somebody, Sami Callihan, before their match showing up on AEW. That's how you promote this belt. But at least finally you got something.
Fest or Homecoming or whatever the hell you named the show, you could have done it there. But this is your first match on your brand new show, and it has nothing to do with AEW. Like, I thought it was dumb.
He wins this belt, but he still has the All Out match. We all know he's gonna lose that match. But yeah, it's just like you threw Hangman Hangman out just to have him win this title and then probably lose at All Out to, I don't know. It's just it's a weird situation, and then you finally give Impact some play. It's this long into the relationship, and it's just that because the man drew the short straw, and he got he's the odd man out when it comes to CM Punk and supposedly Daniel Bryan showing up. He's got to go and probably chill in Impact. But yeah, the partnership doesn't work. You finally give him play. It takes you this long, and this is where you get it. But that's the way the show started off. We got a new Impact champion. Mark Henry, super excited for his friend, Christian Cage win this title. But in terms of a match, it was a really good match to start the show.
It was a good match.
Yeah, the next thing on the show was Miro versus Fuego del Sol, a luchador from Mobile, Alabama. Who would have thunk it? It's for the TNT Championship, but also if Fuego del Sol gets the win, he gets a contract for AEW. Now his record is 1-39, so very 1-2-3 kid about it. They're trying to set this up, and that's the way they played it because he came at Miro quick and fast, almost got the count out win. But after a quick flurry, he ends up losing to the Accolade.
To the top. Oh, it's over. The dream is over. The dream is over for
Your winner by submission.
Which was called, but in WWE, but the Redeemer, God's champion, he holds on to the title, rips up the contract for Fuego del Sol, but then afterwards, after the commercial break, you have Sammy Guevara coming out and giving him the contract for AEW. So he's officially All Elite. Fuego del Sol is the luchador from Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, roll tide. So yeah, it was a solid match. Miro did his thing. Keep Miro strong. Keep Miro powerful. Blah blah blah. What's his name again? Fuego del Sol. Whatever the hell his name is. The Alabama Mexican luchador. All right, we got another guy tossed in there in AEW. Another masked luchador. Maybe he was show. He was with the Chavo and that whole group and that whole thing. Maybe they'll throw him back in there. Who knows? We'll see where he'll probably be on Dark a lot. Maybe more on Rampage. We'll see how Rampage works out. But Miro, solid. Keep him strong. Keep him powerful. Keep him with the belt. I like him. I'm enjoying it. Just keep him strong. And then hopefully there's somebody out there that is built up that can go up against him and be a feasible opponent.
Yeah, I mean, you got the similar vibes when Fuego got the contract from when Cedric Alexander got the contract, the Cruiserweight Classic from Triple H. Similar type of vibes between that. But whatever. I mean, it was what it was. Miro still the man currently right now, really well booked. The next thing on the show, Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's title in Brittburg, Pennsylvania. The second consecutive show in Brittburg, Pennsylvania for Britt Baker. She's taking on Red Velvet. Massive match for Red Velvet because she's in the main event of Rampage. She's the underdog massively because the crowd hometown for Britt Baker. In the end, she tries to get the lockjaw on Britt Baker. She reverses to put the lockjaw on Red Velvet. She gets the win, makes her tap. She's still your champion. Chris Statlander was in the crowd, attacked Britt Baker afterwards because she was beating down Red Velvet, stomping her, was trying to stomp her on the belt. Chris Statlander came with the save, but then a returning Jamie Hayter comes with a new look to help Britt Baker out.
Statlander's in there. Chris Statlander coming to Red Velvet's aid.
Out. So looking like we're gonna get some tag team matches maybe in the future. And Chris Statlander seems to be the next in line for an AEW Women's title match, maybe at All Out.
Well, I like that because Chris Statlander, before her injury, she was kind of one of the other women that we were looking at. She's bigger. She's still pretty young. She hasn't been around too long in the business, but she was impressive. And then she got hurt, and we lost her for a while. And she came back with the best friends, and it was what it was. She's kind of been in the background, but now throwing her into a title picture with whatever, if it's a tag team match against her and Velvet, against Britt Baker, whatever the case may be, but she's definitely being thrown into the picture with her and Britt. And hopefully they book her correctly. And she's bigger and she's stronger. And you saw the physicality. And she's a viable threat versus Britt. Do I think she's going to beat Britt? No, of course not. But I think she looks really good against her. As someone that hey, she's stronger, she's bigger, she's more of a force. So it's definitely a good feud. I thought it was a good way to end Rampage, the main event. It was a better start than finish for me. But hey, we got a second show. It's an hour. I like the hour. I think we should keep it at an hour for as long as we can keep it for an hour, just because it's quick, it's easy. You don't need to spend another 2 hours.
I hope it's not just matches though. Like every week, just matches. Like I hope it has like some type of storytelling part to it. Like
I'm sure they will. I think you could do like start off with a hot match, and then maybe the middle of the show have a 10, 12 minute, 15 minute promo segment, and then move to a main event match.
Which is probably what we're gonna get next week with CM Punk debuting. Is probably the show starts, or they may even do the CM Punk shit like in the beginning or the end. I don't know if they're gonna do it in the middle. Maybe the end.
Yeah, like maybe they tease it, or they keep the people in there from start to finish, and then at the end you hear "Look in my eyes." So I mean I think that's the way to do it. But I like the hour. I mean, I've growing up that's kind of what it was. It was always like an hour. Then we started moving to like 3 hours, but. An hour's easy. It's fun. I mean, remember Sunday Night Heat? You would just be a couple matches and call it a day, and you wear it out to the pay-per-view. So just keep it to that. I think it's you really don't need 2 hours yet. You don't need 2 hours yet. Maybe down the road, if you're getting millions of people watching, then okay, you put it 2 hours. But right now, it's like let's keep it for an hour for like a year or two. Let's just make it easy.
Yeah, with their move to TBS, moving both shows over there, we'll see how it keeps going forward. But a solid hour of wrestling, nice and quick review. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. That's a review of the debut episode of Rampage. Obviously not the bigger episode because next week CM Punk, that's the big episode. So stay tuned for we'll see if it's not a big letdown. But appreciate you guys for tuning into this one. Make sure you check out the pros and cons of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan coming to AEW. The problem WWE has Roman Reigns and NXT is dead. Make sure you check all those videos. I'll drop likes on all these videos and hit the subscribe button if you're watching and not subscribe to the channel, because if you're not, what the hell are you doing with your life? I appreciate you guys for tuning into this Rampage review and reaction. If it doesn't work for you, brother, do not do the job.
Later, Marks.